Ms. Lozano, you're leading us today?
Yes.
Okay.
This was actually really helpful, and I enjoyed reading this one. It talks about, the challenges in this time of year, if for those teachers that feel, oh, I can't do it, can't go on, but it talks about why we need to for our students. The first one talks about they can't keep going if you don't keep going. So if they see that you're lacking that energy in teaching them, they're not going to want to learn as well. The second one talked about that you need to keep going in order to give them quality education. So in order for them to receive that quality education, you need to be involved and very attentive, and it needs to be good interaction and know that you enjoy what you're doing, and they need to see that. The third one talks about that remembering that education is lifelong. You're always learning from the day you're born to the day you die. And it talks about this one. I really like this one because it talks about how teachers can make an impact on students. And I know me, myself, when students come up to me and tell me, oh, Mrs. Anna, I really like your class, or thank you for, I had a student tell me, thank you, you've been one of the only teachers that has ever recognized my talent. And it makes me feel good, and makes me feel like, okay, I'm being appreciated, and I appreciate what they do as well. The fourth one talks about if we don't keep going, it's going to shatter the beliefs that they have of us. So they have us at a standard, and if we don't keep going, they're just going to be like, oh my God, they're going to be shattered because they're going to be like, it's not true. They don't enjoy what they're doing. They don't want to teach us. So that's what I got out of that. Also, this sentence particularly, it says students need us to keep going because they have bought into and believe in us, even some of those who haven't followed our advice at times. So again, they believe in us. They trust us to help them be successful, and that's what I got out of that. In the back, it talks about the reflection and connection. It talks about what behaviors and attitudes I personally do and model in my classroom. So I always teach them to be respectful to each other and to me, of course. I teach them to care. I like to praise them because I know a lot of my students, when I praise them, they get excited and they're like, oh, they want to do better. And as far as working with my colleagues, I know this year is my first year, so at times I've been like, oh my God, it's a lot of stuff, but everyone, I have a great department, and they're always there to listen to me and to give me advice. And I ask them, well, how do you do this if this doesn't work? And so I've been blessed my first year to having a wonderful team.
Thank you, Ms. Lozano. And you have been blessed because you do have a wonderful team. And whatever a first-year teacher feels, every single one of us in here have felt this very same experience, haven't we? Many, many times. How about the first question? Which of the perspectives did you find most useful to your motivation and commitment to keep moving forward at this time of the year? Because this is a hard time of the year. There's a lot of stress right now. All of our testing, lots of things are due. We're working on master schedule. I hate to be away from my campus, and I feel like I've been very pulled lately, and so you come back kind of frazzled. And so what do you think about number one? Who would like to respond to that question?
When I looked at that question, I agree. I thought these are all valid reasons. I know that they're the kids who, if you're even talking, they don't care sometimes, and I still go out of my way to help those kids that I know don't care so that they can start and they don't feel like I've given up on them. But and it's not my main motivation, but it's in the forefront because it has to do with my own personal children that I have one in school now. And I know this year is different from last year because he doesn't feel like his teacher wants to be there. And it impacts him and has impacted him for this whole year, and he's been miserable. And he loves school. And he's only in second grade. He shouldn't be miserable in second grade. And that's because the teacher doesn't want to be there, does not want to be in that grade, and has expressed it vocally. So I think about my son and how I have all of these students, and I don't want them to go home, my teacher hates it here, and she doesn't want to work, and I'm miserable because of this one person. And I think about my son and I don't want to do that to somebody else's kid. Which I know isn't on here, but that was the first thing that popped into my head is I don't want to cause that misery onto somebody else's child.
And that's good to say, because you always want to be the kind of teacher that you would want for your child. I believe strongly in that you have to be that kind of teacher. And you can't pick and choose the days you want to be that kind of teacher. You need to be that kind of teacher every day. And sometimes it is hard, but you still need to remember that every day. Anybody else have anything to share? Number one?
There's something to share. That fourth rule about students looking up to a teacher, and if you don't do what they expect from you, then that's going to shatter their beliefs. That really hit me. Plus, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm always telling my students, I'm going to remember you by how you finish. So if you end the year unmotivated and not doing your work, that's how I'm going to remember you. And I would hate for them to remember me that way.
Good point. Thank you, Mr. Chase. Okay, anyone else? All right, thank you very much. And that's one that we want to keep right on our desk because, like I said, a hard time of the year.